Hi everyone, today's topic is BIM and Revit. Let's move on. As a quick reminder, as I mentioned before, we got a class in this structure, right? Flip learning video before the class, 30 minutes, and this lecture video, 30 to 1 hour, and then some series of lab exercises at home, at any places, using your computers. Okay, so some lab exercise going to be finished in class time, hopefully. If not, you rest of your lab exercise going to be sort of homework, the assignments. So don't remain your homework, okay? Try to finish up lab exercises in each week, because there are some more submissions, reading assignments and project development, and our sort of individual study will be announced, and your project going to be managed by yourself. And then we're gonna have some series of meetings for your progress reporting, okay, so that you can make our good result and outputs at the end of this semester. Okay, the Google Class website is the fundamental our communication website, as I mentioned before. So weekly based assignment, your lab exercises, taking flip learning lecture video before the class, and taking this video class, and some series of lab exercises, reading assignments. Today I'm gonna give you one. Actually, don't worry about reading assignment and it's a summary, because usually I give you some very short, very brief, but useful readings I found, sometimes probably YouTube video or some reference text or some reference videos, and it's a summary. The amount of the writing summary submission supposed to be just one paragraph, which means half page or 1/3 page of A4 page. That's enough. Okay, so not that overloaded. I think it's doable thing, I believe. And some technical things you need to know, I mentioned you last week and at the beginning of this class. So hopefully you can take kind of very high level compared to last semester your digital skills. In my term, it's digital literacy supposed to be getting up, and you can take maximum advantages from amount of IT digital contents and the things available surrounding you, okay, including reference books given and your Google search tutorial video, web pages, blogs, any others, okay, and some given from me. Let's quickly take a look at our NAS. As far as the March 30, let me check on the DDS student upload website folder. In the second week floor, I told you I got some names, your names here, and if I click one of you, some students, okay, submitted, some still hesitating to submit your file, some submitted like this one, okay. So many of you students already submitted like this without problem, hopefully. But if you got some technical problems, issues, or you don't know how to do that, yeah, just few students are missing. But actually the due time for this submission is just before the next week class, which means you have a couple of more days, so I don't worry about it. But this is the beginning of the class, so I encourage you to get rid of any of those unnecessary problem. Okay, So far, very good. Okay. Today's lecture actually is take a look at a little bit more about the definition of BIM and practical, very pragmatic, actual use of BIM by using the tool Revit. So, how many tools you are using now? Hopefully, at least you are kind of an expert in using SketchUp, AutoCAD. If you can draw some lines and some similar looking to floor plans by using AutoCAD, that's good enough. SketchUp, some fundamental 3D model, you can do that, that's okay. 3D Max actually is not a good tool for architecture, but sometimes it's very useful for interior architecture, interior design, because of its very powerful renderers and Autodesk material. That is why we are dealing with some part of 3D Max at the half of this semester. Anyway, we get started with Autodesk Revit 2020. V-Ray, some other renderers, Photoshop, Illustrator, even PowerPoint, all they are very good for design presentation. So that's why we are looking at. Anyway, I told you, newer version of Revit is on the way, probably. So even in this spring, we got a situation. But anyway, I think Revit 2021 going to be released in the middle of this semester, I think. But anyway, we are now working on Revit 2020, and hopefully you don't have any problems. I got some 1 or 2 students reports from struggling from installing and using Revit, but as far as I know, no problem. Okay. 3D Max, I told you about it. Revit 2020, and I introduced you last time, Home Styler, and actually another one, Chief Architect. Let me quickly open this one, chiefarchitect.com. So this is Chief Architect website. You can download the trial version. Actually, Chief Architect is very SketchUp looking software as well as Home Styler looking software. Let me quickly run this kind of advertisement video on this website. Let's take a look a little bit, a couple of minutes. As you see, this one is looking like volume down a little bit. This one is looking like almost Revit. So wall object-based modeling on top of the site. It's kind of uphill structure, and the wall structure and the slab model like this way, and hide the existing site. Some detailed interior finishes and walls, windows, interior finishes, exterior stairwell, the second floor, interior walls, the balcony, fence, and some additional elements just modeled. Okay, interior furniture components, some different floor material finishes, alcove area, and some detailed material for exterior wall system. The plan view, some additional dimensions added. Okay, roof structure simply selected and automatically modeled to cover entire wall structure, and modify or model piece by piece like this way. Actually, the right side of this one is kind of property viewer and 3D viewer, and some sketch mode. We saw this one, sketch mode in 2D. 2D sketch affected to directly to 3D model. very detailed structural things in these mullion systems, framing systems. Let me skip something. Okay, this is kind of very typical structure in the United States, Northern America's single house. I mean wooden structure, wooden core system, so no concrete walls. Actually, a few concrete systems, but anyway, wooden structure modeled, and now some details in. Okay, that's the kitchen furniture, kitchen cabinets, piece by piece, component by component. Even this hood system and hood wall decoration and the material finish changes, all done in this kind of interface. Let me skip some part. Okay, some external views finalized, and some computer generated shaded render view can be seen like this way, and walk through to building interior visualized like this way, and some photorealistic render based visualization also represented. Material changes and its visual effect. Okay, now we gotta take a look this example. chiefarchitect.com. You can download trial version of Chief Architect. Chief Architect is totally building information modeling based tool. It's not a web based tool. You need to download the application as a trial version and you can try it. Anyway, my point is there are many tools. If you think SketchUp is the most effective tool, you can use them, okay? But the problem of SketchUp is it's very good for easy and quick modeling, not the rest of the building lifecycle. SketchUp doesn't care how to build it, okay? That's the one of the problem, because it's simple early stage design visualization tool. AutoCAD also kind of 2D based, precise, detailed drawing generation tool. That's actually not the scope of the AutoCAD, but we believed in that is kind of 2D drawing generator tool, drafting tool, something like that. So think about some manufacturing, think about some actual construction planning, actual building maintenance and operation. Entirely say how to manage this facility, not just focus on design, but also we need to focus on some rest of building life cycle. In that scenario, simply say you are not a designer, think about you are an owner of that building. Design is just one tiny part of the building life cycle. So what is the more efficient and beneficial and anyway smarter way? That's why we are dealing with this building information modeling tool. But I'm not talking about Revit is the world first, or it's really nice tool you must use only Revit, something like that. I'm not talking that, right? My point is all tools have pros and cons. Revit is good for some part. SketchUp is very good for quick modeling, quick 3D model and quick render. All tools have their pros and cons. We have to figure out Revit's pros and cons, 3D Max pros and cons, SketchUp's pros and cons, and Chief Architect pros and cons, and so on. So whenever you need to do some task, that tasks require some cons or some pros for Revit, and then you can choose Revit as well as SketchUp with Rhino, Grasshopper, and so on. So the point in digital design studio class, not just keep working on just one single software. Even if our main tool is Revit and 3D Max, you can still have more choices and options for better outputs, better results. Okay, so my point is figure out each tool's pros and cons and take maximum advantages. Okay, that's very important point. So some more about the home styler. I told you last time, you can open this one directly from web browsers. Actually, the screen here, this is very older version. Nowadays, it's fully upgraded to totally different views. And this one supports this smart tablet, even your smartphone. By using smartphone, there is additional feature. Taking picture and auto measure the dimension of the wall's height or width or some object scale. And you can click this wall and replace the colors, replace material, something like that. That is already implemented and now it's running on top of your smartphone. Try it, okay? Sometimes very useful. Simply think about you are in charge of designing some design alternatives for your commercial space, fixed area, but alternative designs supposed to be developed by you quickly in early stage of design. Which one is good alternative generator tool? Revit, 3D Max, SketchUp, all possible, but Homestyler going to be stored in cloud, this homestyler.com website if you log on here. So you can save the same site, same building, same design project, but different floor plan layouts. But their detail level very good, very high. So you can quickly visualize and compare those series of your existing design alternatives and choose the final one and switch your working environment from this web-based environment to your laptop using Revit or something. That's the sort of smart way to use to take maximum advantages of those tools, pros and cons. Okay, that's my point. Some details view, and also this one supports this one kind of real view, 3D navigation of this space interior. And cloud, if you use cloud render, Autodesk cloud server is going to render your scene in manta ray based photorealistic render, and Homestyler gonna email you the final outputs without any consumption of your CPUs, your laptop's power, resources, your time. Okay, try it. Also, Revit and some nowadays 3D tools supports that kind of cloud-based render or cloud-based processing for you. Later on, we are going to take a look at some Revit-based 3D use. Okay. The point I pointed out last time is this is totally BIM tool. Okay, Homestyler. So take a look this model, very simple model, very simple wall and small size room and door object and that simple bed structure. That file, if it's in DWG format, we can open it using AutoCAD. But if I click this red colored line, which represented a door object, take a look. AutoCAD only represents geometric information. Position X, position Y, scale X, scale Z, name, rotation, color, layer, line type, plot style, line weight. That's all. But take a look this Revit interface. If I load that Homestyler model into Revit, and if I click this door object, and then this one shows you exactly same object name, double panel 1, and its dimension, and some additional properties displayed in this property window in Revit interface, which means this model exactly BIM model. So even if it's very lightweight and easy to use and fancy interface tool, it's not just geometric tool. It's building information modeling tool. That was my point last week I stressed. Let's quickly review. What is BIM? Actually, building information modeling, that's what I mentioned last time. But formally, in history, originally, this was building information model. Take a look. Building information model. That was BIM. But this is kind of static definition. What if you have Revit file? Revit file's extension is RVT. So this could be said building information model, okay? Because your Revit file currently it's a static file, okay? So this is why I'm saying static definition. But of course there is modeling. So building information modeling is the next term from building information model. This is time-based. So building information model plus time is building information modeling, okay? So this is not static. This is sort of dynamic, okay? Which means building information model plus time, that's what I said. What if process, design process, construction process, building lifecycle process, building management process, whatever it is, building information model plus process is building information modeling, okay? And nowadays there is another M, management. Building information management. This is sort of bigger meaning of BIM, the kind of holistic definition of building information modeling. So manage what? Manage building information, model or modeling anyway. So this one also includes FM. The term FM here means facility management. What is facility here? You know what is management? What is facility? Of course it's building, okay? So building management, facility management, they're almost same anyway. So conventional definition of BIM plus entire building life cycle, facility management, that could be represented as building information management, okay? Whatever it is, that's okay. Anyway, still building information modeling, BIM, okay? This is my favorite brief definition by AIA, American Institute of Architects. What is BIM? BIM is a model plus database. Usually we say DB, right? Database. This is very, very simple definition, yet really powerful definition, okay? Model plus database. Don't forget. BIM is a process. This one I mentioned in last slide, modeling focused, okay? Not just a static model, something beyond the Revit file, something beyond BIM model file, static file. It has kind of time frame. So Professor Chuck Eastman, my ex-advisor at Georgia Tech, mentioned this one, and I put this quote at the front page of my PhD thesis. BIM is a process. It sounds cool, right? Okay, anyway. But actually the formal and very representative definition by Building Smart, NIBS, National Institute of Building Science, they defined BIM in this way, very formal way in English and Korean. This is another definition you need to take a look. BIM is a digital representation of physical and functional characteristics of a facility. I mentioned you before, facility means here building. As such, it serves a shared knowledge resource for information about a facility, forming a reliable basis for decision making during its life cycle. Another very important keyword is here, from inception onward. Okay, so this is very good formal definition about BIM, and brief definition also you need to take a look. Okay, BIM consists of objects. Seeing is believing. In Revit, fundamental object is wall object. So new project, using template and open this model and load this kind of floor plan. If you don't have floor plan, no worries, that's original, you can model anything you want. Anyway, wall object is fundamental, so this is property window, generic 200 millimeters. This is sort of default wall in Revit. In US metric library template, anything, any wall object you can replace, you can change, modify after that. So getting started your modeling using generic 200 millimeter wall, that's good enough. Okay, so this is, you are familiar with this building. This is Samsung Hall, Samsung관. Okay, Samsung Hall level 5, where the floor where I am now. Okay, anyway, this is the entire floor objects modeled. After wall object modeling, door, window objects can be modeled. Actually, there is no this kind of sequence, but this has kind of sequential. Mandatorily, we have to build wall object first before modeling door or windows. Why? Think about CAD system. Draw rectangle shape and draw another rectangle like this one, this way, and draw kind of door handle. That's the door. But frankly, it's not a door object. Frankly, it's door looking rectangle geometry. How about this window? If you draw something like this, you can think about this geometry is looking like windows. So it's a window object. But if this is a CAD, there is no object files. But in BIM model, wall objects should be modeled and opening modeled first, and then door object should be modeled exactly inside of this opening, right? Why? That's reality, right? We have to make a void space first before placing door object or window object. We need opening first. Without opening, wall object and doors going to be overlapped. They gonna be clashed in the same space. Is that possible in our real world? Of course not. But in this kind of CAD tools, they are all surface-based 3D, like a game. In game, it's possible. But we believe that there is kind of opening and there is a door object in our belief. But that's not true. That's not reflecting our real world things. So in reality, we have to make opening first. But thankfully, Revit or any other BIM tools automatically generate openings first when you place door or window object, like this way. Okay, there are many door objects. There are many door objects options. So, okay, this is door library. Window library. last time I put a stress on how to find out your library paths. On the C drive, there is hidden folder, program data, and there is Autodesk folder. On the Autodesk, there is Revit 2020 folder. And then you can find out libraries folder. In the libraries folder, you can find out those folders: Windows, column, slab, walls, components, and so on. Okay, so if you click one by one in this object open window, you can take a look this kind of quick view. Okay, very different types of windows, objects. So here's the example and some additional things. And stair objects, component objects using sketch mode. We are going to take a look at this one in lab exercise video or some others. But anyway, I roughly introduce you the sort of sequence, but actually it's not fixed sequence, but kind of common sequence. Wall object first, and the openings and windows door objects, and some detailed objects, but they need sketch mode. For example, stair needs sketch mode, and floor, slab object. If you wanna draw floor or slab objects, also you need to use sketch mode. For stairwell, you need sketch mode. Okay, something like this. Some components, and in this sequence, I can tell you there is another one. Sorry. There is another one, space object. This is void. In other words, empty object. It's empty, void, it's not visible, but very important object that I mentioned before. So this is room object in Revit. Space object, because this is very important object in BIM, in Revit, because think about your design environment. Think about what owners interest in. For example, this one, area. How big this space is exactly? Okay, this is exactly 77.118 square meters. How this one can be precisely measured, calculated, thanks to your room object. Okay, and what's the name of this object? It's a design lab. What is the floor this room contained? Okay, it's a level 1. They all going to be computed, calculated, automatically generated thanks to this building information modeling handler such as Revit tool. So this spatial information, space information, very useful. Okay, that is why I'm saying it is important object. Okay, specifically for designers. Anyway, I quickly and roughly introduce you some series of objects like this way. So thanks to space objects, we can visualize this kind of thing. Special groupings, special allocations, layout generation, and building circulation graph like this way. Okay, some utilities and some visibility things, and floor objects like this one, level 1, 2, like this, and smart copy going to be used for actual building copy. Thanks to floor and levels, we can generate this kind of sections. Okay, sections and building elevations, level 1, 2, 3, and their smart copy like this. The smart copy can be used for object regeneration for entire floor, and then this kind of stacking easily made using smart copy, and then finalize. How about this Samsung whole floor model easily copied by using smart copy system to this entire building story. Actually, this one have been done by students using series of lab exercises in digital design media class. So in this class, in this semester, we are not going to deal with this Samsung Hall. Instead, other buildings going to be given to you for modeling mid-sized building. But I told you, some of you can model this kind of Samsung Hall building or some similar buildings in a couple of hours in very higher level detail, but some of you totally new to this kind of tool. Probably some of you don't know how to model this building or some designs. So I like to introduce you some series of small size building to mid-sized building and some bigger sized building and collection of the buildings. I mean, some building campus, such as Yonsei University campus. That's sort of our midterm project we are facing from this week's lab exercise. Okay,